Hey, imagine this. You're lying in bed, half asleep, debating whether to hit snooze again or quit. Your job entirely. Life's rough. The Wi-Fi's slow. Your boss said, circle back again. But congratulations. Your suffering doesn't even qualify as mild inconvenience compared to what your ancestors went through. Because 500 years ago, you wouldn't have been scrolling through memes. You'd be scrubbing blood off wooden planks. Welcome to the glamorous, gut-splattered life of a medieval executioner. You're born in 17th century England, to what people might call a decent family, which back then meant you had both parents and slightly fewer fleas. Your mother works herself half to death keeping you alive. Your father? Always gone, always working. People in town avoid him like he's cursed. When he walks by, markets fall silent, doors close, and prayers start. You don't understand why until the whispers start following you. At 3 years old, you finally catch the word that defines your existence. Executioner's brat. Your mother pulls you away before you can ask. But that night, when your father finally trudges home, you demand answers. He doesn't sugarcoat it. We kill people, he says. Simple, cold, final. Your father is the city's official executioner. The man paid to turn sentences into corpses. Congratulations, kid. That's your inheritance. In the Middle Ages, executioners weren't villains in dark fantasy stories. They were government employees, underpaid, overhated, and constantly reeking of blood and bad karma. They lived outside city walls, banned from churches, banned from polite company, but essential to law and order. The city couldn't function without them, yet everyone pretended they didn't exist. It's like being a janitor for death itself. Necessary, invisible, disgusting. By the time you're 12, training begins. Forget school. Your lessons are ropes, blades, and the exact angle to separate bone from flesh in one clean stroke. You start with maintenance, sharpening axes, washing tools, cleaning up the aftermath. Every stain you scrub is a reminder of what you'll one day do for real. You tell yourself it's just work, that you're not the one doing it. But deep down, you know that's a lie waiting to grow up. Then the day comes. Your father says only 2 words. Watch closely. A man stands on the platform, shaking, crying, praying. His family screams in the crowd. You want to look away. You can't. The blade falls. The sound is quick, heavy, final. The man's body folds. The crowd gasps, then cheers. Justice served. You throw up behind the scaffold. And that's lesson 1. Death is entertainment if you're not the one swinging the blade. You keep working. 14 now. Taller, colder, quieter. Your father starts teaching you the details. Not from books, but bodies. You learn how long it takes for a person to stop screaming. How to cut clean. How to avoid messy justice. You learn anatomy not for healing, but for breaking. It's not science. It's performance art in pain. The executioner's job isn't just killing. It's putting on a show that tells the town, obey or you're next. And then there's torture. The medieval version of enhanced interrogation. You sit in candlelight, watching your father pull out teeth one by one, waiting for a confession. He teaches you where to cut so they live long enough to talk. Mercy, he says, is bad for business. Every lesson blurs your empathy a little more. You stop gagging at the smell. You stop shaking at the screams. You start to understand how monsters are made. One lesson at a time. By 16, you know every knot, every blade, every prayer. The church still hates you, but they need you. You're not allowed to walk through the front doors of God's house. But when they need a heretic burned, guess who they call? You've become what society loves in secret, but hates in public. The necessary evil. Then comes your first real execution. It's morning. The square is packed. The priest mutters last rites. The condemned man trembles. You step forward, sword in hand, cloak brushing your boots. The sun hits the blade like divine spotlight. You raise your arm, swing, and the world falls silent. One clean stroke. You're shaking inside, but outside, cold as iron. The crowd gasps. Some cry, some cheer, most stare. You realize they're not watching justice, they're watching you. From that moment, you're not just a worker, you're a spectacle. The butcher with a stage, the reaper in service of the crown. You're hated and needed in the same breath. Mothers pull their children away from you in the streets. Priests won't bless you. Shopkeepers overcharge you. But no one dares to insult you face to face, because they know what your hands can do. Years pass. You earn privileges, grim little perks of the trade. You get paid well. You get to take the dead man's clothes, shoes, jewelry. It's called executioner's right. You walk through town in other people's boots, and everyone knows it. Imagine walking past a woman wearing her husband's ring, the same ring you claimed after you killed him. That's your everyday normal. You try to build a life. You marry someone who's just as exiled as you. Maybe a prostitute. Maybe another social outcast. Someone who won't flinch when your hands touch hers. You have children. You tell yourself they'll be different, that you'll end the cycle. But cycles don't care about promises. They repeat because the world demands them. The city still needs its blade. Your father dies, and you take his place. You've seen 1,000 deaths now. Every face blurs together. The crowd still cheers. The blood still smells like iron and sin. The first few times, you prayed for their souls. Now you just count the coins. You've become the thing you swore you'd never be. Efficient, calm, unbothered. But that calm comes with ghosts. They visit at night. The people you killed. The ones who begged. The ones who cursed you. The ones who thanked you for ending it quickly. Their faces hover when you close your eyes. Sometimes you wake up sweating, your hands gripping the air like you're still holding the sword. That's the real curse. Not the job, not the hate, but the memory that never leaves. Your body begins to betray you. Hands shake. The swing gets slower. You miss once, the crowd gasps, the condemned screams, and you have to strike again. The shame burns deeper than any insult. In this profession, a mistake is worse than sin. It's humiliation. You realize what every executioner eventually learns. There's only one retirement plan. Training your son. You swore you wouldn't, but you do. You sit him down, teach him to hold the blade, how to stand, how to breathe. You see the horror in his eyes, the same horror you once had. This is the only life they'll let you have, you tell him. And in that moment, you become your father. Not out of choice, but out of survival. The legacy continues. Not because anyone wants it to, but because the world still demands someone to do the dirty work. This is the secret irony of history. Civilization only works because someone's hands get dirty. You were never the villain. You were the cleanup crew for justice, the disposable gear in a moral machine. The crowd can sleep peacefully because you carry their nightmares. And maybe that's what hurts the most. You didn't choose this life. You just inherited it. A role passed down like a family heirloom of misery. The church won't absolve you. The people won't thank you. And history won't remember your name. But the city will keep the blade sharp. Because there's always another neck, another crime, another crowd hungry for spectacle. Now imagine, centuries later, someone scrolling through their phone, complaining about slow internet, while you, their ancestor, were out there swinging steel to keep order. Humanity survived not because it was noble, but because it was necessary. And you were the necessity no one wanted to admit they needed. So, next time you complain about your boss, your rent, or how unfair life feels, remember, at least your job doesn't end with applause and a corpse. You can quit. You can walk away. They couldn't. You're the spoiled heir of people who never had that choice. History loves to paint heroes and villains, but most people weren't either. Just survivors of bad luck and worse systems. The medieval executioner wasn't evil. He was trapped in the machinery of justice, doing what no one else dared. You might hate him, but civilization was built on the backs of people like him. And maybe, in some twisted way, that's comforting. Because it means survival doesn't always require goodness, just endurance. Humanity crawled out of darkness, not because it was pure, but because it was stubborn. And that stubbornness, that ability to endure, even when the job is horrific, is the reason you're sitting here, safe, alive, and scrolling through history's tragedies like they're entertainment. So, be grateful. You exist because someone before you had to swing the blade. They carried the horror so you could carry coffee. Now tell me, what's one job in history you would absolutely refuse to inherit? Drop it in the comments. And if you like learning about humanity's most cursed survivors, hit subscribe to Spoiled Wisdom. Because history didn't just build civilization, it traumatized its way there.